Well, sorry that we didn't have a podcast ready for you on Sunday. The amount of emails and messages and hate mail that I got because I ruined everybody's Sunday. Sorry.
Yeah, we sincerely apologise. However,
we were super, super busy, and unfortunately, we didn't get a chance just even to breathe this last week.
No, we've been holding our breath all week.
But we have done the podcast today for you.
Yeah.
It's Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's going to be edited and uploaded for you right now. And we are back again Thursday, recording live. And
For your Sunday episode?
For your Sunday episode. I hate missing a Sunday episode. I honestly do. So I'm sorry that we missed it for you guys. But the reason being, because we record live now as well, we can't even do 10 episodes ahead. So we tend to do them each week. And we're back.
Yeah. And we are back with podcast 107, the
Vernal
Vernal Equinox.
I am Stephen.
And I am Thomas.
That was almost like we rehearsed that, wasn't it?
Yeah, and we didn't. We were just looking at each other.
Deep into each other's eyes. And one more thing before you get to listen to the podcast is go and check out the YouTube channel, NPK Technology, and you can see our escapades on Barcelona, Spanimus.
NPK Spanimus 2017, YouTube.
It was very enjoyable. Hopefully it comes across in the video.
Watch the film.
And we will speak to you all very soon.
What's going on, homies? You're listening to NPK Live, the Hydroponics Podcast. You're listening to NPK Live. To all the listeners around the world, you're listening to NPK Live.
So, podcast 107 with myself, Stephen.
And myself, Thomas.
And we are talking today about the Vernal Equinox and the change of weather. Have you noticed anything?
No.
You've noticed no change?
Of what?
The weather.
Oh, outside?
No inside. In this booth right now. Of course, outside.
Yeah, it was sunny the other day. And we all sat outside and had to kind of see his Stella, didn't we? Outside the bench, and we all had our t-shirts on and that. And it was nice and very, very, very summery for one day.
One day only. That was our summer.
But today it's been dead like
cold. The weather forecast says haze.
Haze? What's that mean?
Hazy.
Hazy. Does that mean they haven't got a clue?
Yeah, probably. Just means you can't really see much. It's a bit foggy, misty, cloudy, all in one, and we call it haze.
So what's this got to do with any?
So, it is nearly the beginning of April, the Vernal Equinox. As you should know by now, the clocks went forward on Sunday.
So the Vernal Equinox is the change of weather?
It's the start of spring.
But that's what the Vernal Equinox means, the change of weather.
There is a change of weather when the Vernal Equinox happens because the Earth tilts slightly.
So is the Earth tilting the Vernal Equinox?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the beginning of the second half of the tilt, so we get warmer weather for longer, supposedly anyway, in the UK.
But if you like me and you believe the world's flat, does it still tilt?
Oh, I don't know. Does the world still tilt?
Oh, it tilts the other way. So, obviously, bloody hell. Know that one.
But the reason it's important for people in their grow rooms is because the weather gets hotter outside. And in the UK, well, they say it gets hotter, but I'm sure in other countries, in Australia, it's getting cooler at the moment because they're the other side of the globe. Oh, that's an interesting one. How does Australia get cooler if it's all just on one plane? Makey's doing this weird thing with his. Okay, we'll have a proper discussion later about that one. But Australia gets cooler this time of year. The UK gets warmer.
What about all our listeners in the US? What happens to them?
They tend. Well, it depends where they live, but it mostly gets.
They live in America.
Whereabouts in America? America's a big country.
No, they just all live in America though.
Yeah, but because it's so big.
52 states.
50 states.
50 or 51.
And Liverpool was the 51st state. Remember the film?
Yeah, but
Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, 51st state. Well, Liverpool is the 51st state.
Is it?
Well, that's what the film is about, isn't it?
No, but that's not really real.
No, that's what they say.
No, but that's just.
That's what Samuel L. Jackson is saying.
Oh yeah, but he says a lot of things in his films. Means if you believe all that, God help you.
Like snakes on a plane.
Yeah. Anyway,
So as we get
So
warmer,
America, do they get?
they get warmer.
They get warmer.
The majority of people get warmer.
And what
in
about
America.
Canada?
That's
They're
just
ne- they're
always
next.
cold. It's always cold in Canada.
I thought it was sunny in Canada.
No, but there's always just snow and ice skating and people skiing.
We don't get out often, do we? We haven't got a clue what it's like here, have we? We just
I think
guess.
Eric's watching. He might be able to tell us what's going on.
Yeah. So basically, there's weather changes going on with this Vernal Equinox.
Yes.
So weather changes,
And
and
what does
weather
that
changes. Every action has a reaction.
hmm
I can understand that.
So what happens to your indoor grow room when it gets warmer outside?
Ooh, gets warmer inside.
Everything changes.
Everything changes.
Temperatures,
Humidity.
nighttime temperatures, the amount of air that you've got to extract. Do you bring air in? If it's 25, 26 degrees outside, do you continue to bring that warm air in? Or, more often than not, it is cooler inside your house than it is outside. So you draw air in from other places within the house. All considerations that you've got to think of when it turns to summer, when your weather changes.
I was talking to Jeffro on Skype. He's in. Big shout out to Jeffro in Jamaica, in the St. James, parish of St. James. A big shout out to all my Jamaican friends. You know, all of the boys on Orange Hill. And I was talking to Jeffro, my pal. He's in St. James. It's a parish in Jamaica. He was Skyping me today. I think he said the fucking temperature was like 38 degrees. He's growing indoors.
38?
Yeah. He's growing indoors. And I was just being savaged, and I mean savaged, by whitefly.
Ooh.
He's got rid of the pest. However, the damage has been done. And obviously, how do you control his temperature? You know, he's 38 degrees outside.
Not a lot you can do, really, is there?
Well, to be honest with you, I think we're shipping over an air conditioning unit for him and a water chiller.
All right.
Yeah, because his water temperature is a constant 25 degrees.
25 degrees?
Yeah.
So he's going to have to get air conditioning units, water chillers,
Yeah.
and try and keep it as closed loop as possible, isn't he?
And some Bermuda shorts for his plants.
Yeah.
Some
sunglasses. You're going to send yours?
Yeah.
Okay. So, first points then. Let's get right into it. Temperatures are heating up over the next few weeks and months. What do we do? And I have put, let's start off with lighting. What do you do with your lights when it gets too hot? We'll start off with magnetic ballasts.
They heat up as well.
Yeah.
They add additional, probably a degree per ballast.
Because they're the least efficient forms of lighting your room.
Efficiency.
Yeah.
Efficiency.
Efficiency, like that podcast we did.
Yeah, previous podcast where we talked about efficiency.
And how to improve efficiency. So, number one in improving efficiency, and also helps get your temperatures down, is move off the magnetic ballasts. If you can't do that, unfortunately, because you can't dim a magnetic ballast, you're just going to have to turn them off. You cannot use, I don't advise people to use 400 watt bulbs in a 600 watt ballast. It's not going to produce the right output.
No.
And you could potentially blow your bulb a lot sooner than you should do as well. So, either turn off your magnetic ballast and use less light, or upgrade to digital.
Yeah. There's some new ballast out as well, and for extra heat resistance, they have like a purple helmet that goes over the ballast, and it covers the ballast, and it doesn't really. I'm just joking. But yeah, digital ballasts are really the best because you don't get any heat from them at all.
Really super low heat.
Another good summer piece of kit is the LED.
Still expensive, still very expensive. But
well, you've got the Mars one, the one that we've got on display in the shop for 500 quid. It's probably the cheapest one in the industry.
The cheapest one that works.
That works.
To a degree.
To a degree, yeah. But it's an option as a supplement lighting.
If you were considering changing to LED, now is about the right time to give it a go, isn't it?
Yeah.
We currently rate Budmaster LEDs
Yep.
and Spectrum King LEDs.
Yep.
They're the two that we've tried and tested and they work.
I like Mars as well.
On for the cheaper budgeted people.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other LEDs out there, but they're just our personal favourites. CFL, there's another option in lighting, is to use compact fluorescent lighting.
Yep.
You've got blues, and you've got reds, and you've got dual spectrums. Now, you typically use blues when they're in the veg stage, and people say to use the reds when you're in flowering stage, but I'm not a big fan of red CFLs. I don't see the point. Like, you get plenty of red from your 600 watt HPS. There's no need to add any more red.
What happens if you remove some HPS because your temperature's soaring, but you need to replace that light that you've removed? So
to maintain your coverage.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good option. But I would still use blue CFLs because there's still plenty of red spectrum in these high pressure sodiums. So throw a few blue LEDs in as well. Blue CFLs. And that will help if you need to turn off your magnetics. Throw in some CFLs, they're relatively cheap and they're going to help you maintain your coverage as well.
I think the main point of this podcast is, to put it in a nutshell as well for you, is that the weather changes are coming. That's what Steve's saying with the Vernal Equinox. The weather changes happening, so it's adjustment time. It's time to get your summer kit out. You know how you change your summer clothes? You change your winter clothes to your summer, you get rid of all them big Canada gooses and that. They'll all be a thing of the past for a good 6 months soon enough. Do you know what I mean? Because we're about to come into them warmer temperatures. It's the same with your plants, it's the same with your grow equipment. You need to adjust your stuff that you're using to allow you to have a good successful grow through that period. And if you don't adjust, you're gonna run into some serious issues.
You've got to be on the ball. Change of the climates,
yeah,
and you're just going to carry on like it's still December. You're going to run into problems, like you say. So stay on the ball, and start. We say this every now and again, but you need to download either a weather app onto your phone or just click on the given
iPhones got. I think all the phones have got it on them. Now, haven't they?
And you can see 10-day forecasts. You can see the high temperatures in the day. You can see the low temperatures, and you can make your adjustments there and then, rather than guessing. Take the guesswork out and go and have a look at your weather map. So we started off with the magnetic ballasts. If they're too hot, turn them off. You could also supplement with CFL. So if you turn a magnetic ballast off, supplement it with CFL to maintain your lighting coverage. Good time of year to venture into LEDs. Even though they are a little bit expensive, it's a good time to use them because they do produce well. Still, in my opinion, not as good as the HPSs, but definitely they're gonna become a lot better, and they will be getting cheaper as well. And then, so digital ballast, that's the step up from magnetic ballast, isn't it?
Yeah.
What they allow you to do is, you said they run a lot cooler. So what they also allow you to do is dim down.
Yeah,
rather than turn off.
Dimmable digital ballast is the way forward, definitely.
Change your light bulbs if you dim them down. So when you're buying a digital ballast, obviously you get your 600 watts or 400 watts, but buy a couple of 250 watt bulbs as well, because if them temperatures do get hot, rather than having to turn the light off, you can throw in a 400 watt bulb, or you can throw a 250 watt bulb in, dial it down, and have to cope with lower temperatures. So it's a good feature.
Yeah.
Lighting, there's another one that I didn't write down, actually I've just thought of then. No, air-cooled lighting, air-cooled shades or hoods or reflectors. What's your personal opinion?
I don't know. Because I've seen, and I know you have as well, I've investigated the way the air moving over the bulb can cause issues and stuff like that. I've never really personally used them. They're not the biggest seller in the shop. No. So it must be for a reason. Main reason for me is the outlets and the inlets for them, and how many of them extraction holes that you'll need per lights and stuff like that. It becomes to be a bit of a pain in the ass, to be honest with you. I just think, just put the lights in the room and then just extract the whole room. Yeah. Like that. Yeah.
The reason I don't like them is because bulbs are meant to run at a certain temperature. They give you a certain amount of light, a certain type of light when they run at these temperatures. And if you run cold air over them, they no longer run at that temperature, so they give you less output and they run less efficiently, and essentially your plant's getting less food. And that's just by running cold air over your boobs. Don't run cold air over your boobs, because they'll stick out. Yeah. Don't run cold air over your bulbs.
I think it reduces the bulb life as well, you know.
Just because it's running at a rate that it's not supposed to.
Yeah.
A lot of these as well come with glass, so you get the circular shades, which runs cold air over them, and then the light has to then penetrate this concave glass or plastic and then heat your plant. So not only is the bulb being cooled,
there's like a screen in front of it,
so it's getting more reflected off that, and there's a lot less light hitting your plants. So there is some really expensive air-cooled hoods though, and they mostly get used in America when the temperatures, like in California, are getting really high. And what they do is they run the cold air over the top of the bulb, so obviously heat rises. They have the bulb in the middle of the air-cooled reflector, and the air passes over the top, so it's actually not cooling the bulb but cooling the air around the bulb.
Okay.
So that one works quite nicely. And there's Adjust the Wings as well, have these heat shields.
So it's just like a vacuum on top of the bulb.
Yeah. Moving all the hot air away. And those expensive ones tend to use low iron glass as well. So it's the iron that reflects the light.
It still has the extraction issue for me though, where you run all these little ductings to, and where you put them out.
Extraction holes.
How many fans do you need, and
how powerful do they have to be?
Yeah. There's no like real schematics for it all, is there? You think it's just
bit of a nightmare.
Yeah.
But there are some uses for them. If you don't want to invest in the LED lighting or look at digital ballasts, and it's just you've got to run a certain amount of lights, and it is a very hot temperature, then they do have a use. But just bear in mind that the output is going to be far less than it would do if they weren't air cooled and they weren't having to pass through your glass. But if you're going to get one, make sure spend money on the good ones. I'm just trying to think of the ones now. From like in America, SANlight Supply do really good ones, and in the UK, Maxi Bright do really good ones as well. I just can't think of the name off the top of my head because we don't use them.
No, we don't. We're not that big a fan of.
But you can expect to pay about £180 for the shade.
Yeah,
£150 to £180 for these shades. So definitely worth a look at, but not our personal favourite. And this is our opinion as well.
Yeah, I'm sure there's thousands of people out there who are like, wow, what are they talking about? These mad, these words.
Feel free to comment and let us know what you feel about air-cooled extraction.
Yeah.
Talking about extraction, what do we do? Temperatures are getting hotter. Do we just leave our extraction the same?
It's going to have to be adjusted, isn't it? Of course, it's going to have to be adjusted because there's different levels of heat now, different levels of humidity. And whatever zone you're in, dependent veg or flower or whatever, it's going to determine also what you need and what you require. You've got these other elements now knocking on your door saying, right, what are you going to do?
So you've come into the shop or your local store around September time, and you've figured out that you're going to have 4 or 5 lights up, and you've actually done quite well. You've looked at how many lights you've got, and you've picked the appropriate extraction to move those lights, to move that amount of air in the winter. But now it's come to summer, so you don't want to turn lights off because you need to reduce. So what do? You've got the same extraction, and it's no longer going to cope with the heat. And when we talk about heat, something that keeps on coming up is BTUs. That stands for British Thermal Units, and essentially it's a type of measurement to see how much heat that we've got on our rooms, and it's quite a complicated subject, to be honest. You know, the best person that I'd like to get into to really get nailed down into it is Peter from Highlight.
Okay. He
was a chimney engineer, so he knows his stuff on British Thermal Units, but I've got a little bit of information written down for later on to tell people about BTUs. It's a bit similar to the calorie in how much energy it takes to heat up a pound of water in a minute or something like that. I've got the real definition over the other page. So extraction, you need to increase your extraction. The smart people will have thought about the fact that they were going to carry on in the summer and will have upgraded their extraction. So rather than getting a 10-inch 1500 fan.
But what you'll find is most people buy the equipment, and when they do it, they have it maxed out to its limits anyway.
Yeah.
And then they want to move from a colder climate into a hotter climate with this equipment maxed out. It won't work. You're gonna have 2 options. You're gonna have to either reduce your level of heat output, i.e. light, or you're gonna have to increase your extraction output. Unfortunately, you're gonna have to upgrade your fan to cope with this.
For the people that haven't done it in September, then you need to upgrade your fan. Let's say you were using a 10-inch 1500 Ice Max, for example, good quality fan, and you bought a 10-inch 1500 CANNA filter. So you need to take out more air because it's hotter, and you go to the shop and you upgrade and you get the Ice Max 10-inch 2500. We move a lot more air now, moving that heat out. But what's the issue? What haven't they changed?
Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
That was a long silence.
What's this? Interrogate me time? Oh, your intake?
No, they've got the fan and the filter, 1500 filter, 1500 Ice Max.
How many lights have they got?
They've got 3 lights.
Okay.
And they're in 2.4 by 1.2.
So the 3 lights are currently running at
1800 watts.
1800, which is a bit out of sync anyway.
So they've got a 1500 in the winter. This week.
Yeah, in the winter because they had a bit of give and grace.
Yeah, 1500 filter.
But in the summer, there's no chance
fan.
it's working.
But they've realised this customer's on the ball a little bit. Okay. Only a little bit though.
Only a little bit.
He's come into the shop and he's bought. He's upgraded his fan. He said, "Oh, there's just too much heat. What do I do?" Oh, have you thought about upgrading your fan? Oh, good idea. Get me the 2500. There you go. There's the 2500. What hasn't he changed? Not the intake. It's filter, exactly. Not something that a lot of people think about. But now this person.
Yeah, but it's the same size.
It's a 10-inch, isn't it? Oh, I forgot.
Why would you need to upgrade?
Because they're moving now an extra 1,000 metres cubed of air an hour through a filter that can only cope with 1500. So what happens?
But they're both 10-inch filters.
Oh, yeah, but the different amounts of air get moved through them. Yeah, you've got to think about this shit, you know.
So they're going to have to get their pennies back out again,
well,
aren't they?
He didn't realise this, so he's attached his 1500 10-inch to his 10-inch 2500 Ice Max. Jobs are good. It's now moving a lot more air. But there's a problem. He was growing tomatoes, and you know what happens with tomatoes. They have that really cat pissy smell. They smell like cat piss, don't they? Or the leaves do anyway. And he was using really organic root stimulators.
Yeah, the tomatoes don't.
Yeah. And the organic root stimulator that he was using smells, and the neighbours are getting annoyed. He's thinking, what's going on here? Why is this all smells coming through? I've got my filter. I only bought it 3-4 months ago. Upgraded my fan. Now the fan is moving so much air through the filter, it doesn't have time to be scrubbed, as we call it. The carbon didn't have time. The smelly air.
So you have the wrong equation.
Yes.
You have the wrong filter, with the right fan, but with the wrong filter.
Yeah. And this creates an issue. You move more air. The heat, more than likely, is not a problem anymore. No. But smells are, because we have these smells are called VOCs, volatile organic compounds. And what happens is they pass through the carbon. And the method that the carbon uses is called adhesion. Rather than absorption, where the carbon would hold onto it and soak it up, adhesion, it clings to the charged carbon. My tongue got stuck there.
Charged carbon.
But if you pass it through too quickly, the carbon can't
What do you mean the carbon had to pay a fee?
Tunnel fee.
Put your card in here. You've been charged.
But if you run out the shop too quickly, you don't get a chance to get charged, do you? And you manage to get through very quickly, and you don't have to pay. The problem is that smell doesn't pay, and it gets out and causes you issues. So you have to go back to the shop and you have to upgrade your filter with your fan. Now let's avert, come September, let's avert this problem completely. Let's go one step further. So get the fan and filter that you need to move the amount of air for your lights in the winter, but then go the next level up and buy a dimmer. Dim down your extraction for the winter. Yep. When the summer comes, take the dimmer out.
Boom.
Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, and there you go.
It's happy days.
To be honest, for most customers who do buy dairy setups in the summer and buy accurately, they have that luxury.
Yeah.
But it's for the people who probably buy in the winter and don't understand, because then the yield usually max out and then roam into the summer and then be like...
And they get annoyed and they stop growing
and all of that. All that.
Well, now that the people have started commenting, or they commented before, Eric is watching us. Simon said, Barca suntans have gone icy. I just
That's
go
why
red.
I've got both gloves on now.
I tend to go like a lobster and then just go back to me pale old self.
Back to normal life, I'm afraid.
Back to where?
No more yacht life. I hope you all checked out
the video.
The video.
Check the video out.
Check the video
on
out.
YouTube. NPK Technology.
Spannabis
2017.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to see the video. But also, I'd like why don't they subscribe at the same time as watching?
Subscribe, NPK Technology, Spanibus, 2017, NPK everything. Just NPK everything.
Adam, Anita's messaged us and said Adam's watching from the garden and said hey. So, hey to you from the garden, buddy.
Hey from the garden.
Anita said, how does the RAM controller work? I will answer that at the end of the show rather than get carried away. But the RAM controller works quite well, to be honest. The
climate controller?
Yeah, the RAM one.
They've had one out for ages.
This is a new one. It's distributed by Maxi Bright, and it works pretty nicely, to be honest. It dims the fan down.
I've seen the old one, the digital one.
Yeah, well, this is similar. I'll get them to bring it back to shop again because we didn't have that much time to put it through.
Oh, haven't they give us one? No,
not yet. They had a prototype.
Oh, no, well, you can't talk about it then.
It's okay then.
Allowed to talk. Unfortunately, because they won't give us one.
No, it's a prototype. There's only one.
So, and
they need further testing.
Everybody wants to know what it's saying, don't they?
It's saying it looks theoretically.
Well,
it looks very good.
If they need the testing, why the hell have they given to us? Because who on earth is more better to test anything than us? Nobody.
We'll do it for you. Bring it over.
We'll do it. Because our strategic testing department, we get it, we throw it down the stairs. See, it's
Simon wants an invite to podcast 110. What shop are you from, Simon? Let us comment your shop below.
Comment your shop. Please put your shop up now.
I hate not having this on the screen. No, doesn't that throw me off? You might have noticed at the beginning of the podcast we started a little bit slow, and it's literally because the screen's on there. I actually like looking up.
But yeah, Simon, if he has his shop, he can come. By all means.
What date is that? April 19th. It's a Thursday. It's the Thursday before the bank holiday. The big bank holiday.
What big bank holiday?
The big one where everyone's off Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. That bank holiday.
Oh, I don't know nothing about this shit.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It says so on the calendar.
What date's this?
April 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd. Normal people get those days off.
No, I'll be checking this shit out on iPhone calendar, mate. Never lies.
I've already put it into your phone. Staff day out.
Yeah. No more staff. Hey, listen, these had the whack at Barcelona. Let me tell you, there'll be no more staff days out till next year, next Barcelona. You're all getting whipped and slogged now. That's it.
Simon's from the Green Room, Rochester, Kent.
Okay. By all means, he's very much welcome, especially for doing that drive as well.
Can you stop spinning my chair, please?
Sorry.
Thank you very much.
Sorry. Yeah. So big shout out to Simon and the Green Room in Kent. So if you're in Kent and you're growing, or not growing, and you want to start growing, make sure you go round to the Green Room and see Simon. Go and pester the living daylights out of him. Go and see if he is certified. Go and see if he's an avid
obsessed with hydroponics,
obsessive person like us. Yeah, probably is. He must be to be watching us on podcast.
Mark Brooks is coming from GM GM Hydro Garden.
Who else is coming?
GM Hydroponics.
So come on. So Simon, we've got Simon from.
Simon's coming. Slim will obviously be there.
Slim will be there.
Jay from Hydro to Grow.
Yeah.
The guys at Ashton Hydroponics have said that they're going to come down, but yet to confirm how many people. Mark's coming. Simon, hopefully we'll be able to make it up. And the reason that we're asking all,
but you know what I've been thinking, right? So, how many shops have said that they want to come? About 15. Really, is it?
Probably about. There's about 8 have said that they'd like to come.
Okay, so say for instance, each shop brings one person. That's 16.
Yeah. And that no shop's just going to come by themselves, really. They normally bring a few of the boys.
Yeah, of course. So
we've got plenty of seating.
Well, I know some of them are going to bring at least 3.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So, say for instance, okay, then Friday.
There
was 8 shops.
Are we all fit in this booth?
Yeah. How many shops can you fit in a booth?
Yeah. Do you reckon we try and fit everyone in here?
Yeah.
And then just start walking out into the room?
Yeah, see how many of the shops we can fit in the booth. Well, that's going to be mad. To be honest, boys, we'll have to. I think we're going to make a little adjustment. I might actually do it out on the mez in front of the lab.
Do you reckon?
Something. I don't know.
You've got 3 weeks to think about it.
Well, I just get down here, boys, and we'll figure it out when you get here.
What I was going to say is the podcast 100 was a brilliant success. It is the most downloaded podcast over the last 3 months.
Yeah.
So it's
No
done very well.
suppliers, just let me iterate in case, because you should be watching and you should be listening. No suppliers are allowed on podcast 110, by the way. That includes any of my pals who were suppliers. Unfortunately, I will fuck yous off. You just can't come in, you just can't watch, you just can't be in the shop on that day, you just can't be doing anything.
Dan was here the other day from AutoPot, Dan Mooney, and he went, "Can I come along and watch?" I said, "Are you a supplier?" He went, "No, I'm AutoPot."
Good try, Dan. I'm Jamie, mate.
Yeah.
Highlight.
Yeah, but I said to him, even Jay's not allowed to come from Highlight.
Yeah, and
Because
he's fuming.
He is.
He is fuming.
Mark said he's going to bring some sardines. Or does he mean we're going to look like sardines?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the reason, like I was saying, podcast 100 was a good success. I was very happy with it, and the feedback been very good as well. Yeah. But what I will say is, obviously, Slim is your very good friend.
Yeah.
And Slim's a good friend of mine as well. And Jay's my
Oh
very
no,
good
he said
friend,
he doesn't
and a good
like
friend
him.
It's because I didn't give him any of the bits in Barcelona.
Yeah.
I kept them all to myself. But they're our friends, and they probably have opinions similar to ourselves.
Sometimes they don't. Sometimes, you know.
Sometimes they do change, but
Yeah.
they're our good friends, aren't they? We speak to them quite often. So the reason for this one is invite the shops that we still know are very good shops and get their opinions. Now, Simon from the green shop down south.
The green shop.
The green shop. Let me scroll down. What shop was it again?
The green shop.
The Green Room in Kent.
Yeah.
Don't know him at all, but he's more than welcome to
But he
come on the
will
show,
do.
and he will have different opinions from
Yeah,
us.
can't
He might
wait.
be coming on because he hates us, and he's going to come on and just slate us to fuck,
Oh, that'd be great.
and give his opinions. So if you do have difference of opinions,
But you know what's great as
come
well?
along.
You know, because, you know, when I do talk to, like, other shops as well, especially because he's got a shop in Kent, and, like, it's mad because he'll sell completely different stuff from
Yeah.
us and different systems and have a completely different version of everything. His customers will be different the way ours are, and you know what, it's good because he'll probably teach me a good few things.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the listeners as well. They'll get taught a lot more by having a holistic view. We need
Yeah.
to get some shops down from Scotland as well.
Isn't there any coming?
Not from Scotland.
No.
Not yet. It's a bit of a mish, isn't it?
Yeah. Kent's a mish.
Kent's a mish, it is. So if
Kent's an
if
hour.
they need to stay over, you can sort nice accommodation, can't you? For the what's the price?
Oh.
Can we sort accommodation?
Yeah, what day is it? If it's a weekend?
It's a Thursday. It's going to be a Thursday night.
Thursday should be about 60 quid.
60 quid. So if you want to stay over in a very nice place, you only have to bring £60 and you can stay over rather than having that long drive back of nights, because
Yeah.
God knows how long this one's going to last. Could be a long one.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, we've shaken hands, but no more yet with Simon. If we've met at a show, it's probably because I was wearing my sunglasses and I'd had some sweets, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, so whoever wants to come, even if more shops want to come, I'll ask everyone.
Just come.
Just bombard me shop and we'll just have a pure Royal Rumble hydro fucking jangle.
So if they thought Podcast 100 was a bit mean, wait till we get all the shops going.
This is going to be ruthless because there'll be no distributors there. So, like, I know that we're not ass, but, like, sometimes you do have to tread a bit carefully.
Yeah.
You know, because it's a bit ass if they're sitting in front of you and you're saying, hey, your thing's shit because everything died and whatever.
Yeah.
So it's going to be quite funny because it's going to be like a pack of animals, I think. It's like, rah!
And then Podcast 120, you're actually having the distributors on to defend themselves.
Ooh, I
from
don't
the
reckon they'll
onslaught.
turn up though, you know.
Well, me and Barry and Geordie and Brian had an idea. You know, we'll invite all wholesalers. You're all welcome to come, and any distributors of products. And if we invite you though, and you don't turn up, we're going to get a cardboard cutout and sit you on the couch and put your face on it, and then say,
and then we'll dictate for them.
yeah.
Oh, that's ruthless.
So, what could we say? So, Hydro Garden, who do you feel is the best
Why have you
distributor?
picked on Hydro Garden?
Because we just got their new catalogue, which is gorgeous.
It's amazing.
It's just out there.
Go and get it. Go and get it.
Well, let me finish my story. We could say to Hydro Garden, who's
We'll
the
go and
best
get the catalogue.
While I'm telling my story.
No, because you can tell a story while you've got the catalogue. It's only fair to them. Because everyone tries to terrorise them, and they've just come out with this amazing catalogue that I really like. So let's give them a shout out for it, because they deserve it. So fucking well done. Look at this badass piece of kit coming the other day. I don't know whether I'm qualified to use it, like, you know. So, it's... What is it? What did you say it was called?
It's like a fat... 1 second. It's like a Filofax, isn't it?
Yeah, so... Basically...
Welcome pack.
What it is because... do you want me to tell you what it is in short form?
Yes, please.
It is, because they've just took on Gavita, it's an amendment book.
Okay.
But it's a very sleek one, because you've got to give them credit where credit's due. They've got the catalogue in here.
The product catalogue 2017.
Stay true. Interesting tattoo.
Mm.
Very nice catalogue.
You can leave it on your counter because it's got no prices in there.
Yeah, it is a very nice catalogue. And
just a nice folder altogether. It's got some
nice
helpful
folder.
hints and tips.
It's got a few other like price listy things in the back. Yeah, it's a nice folder. So, yeah, big shout out to the Hydro Garden, because they are very good at all of this stuff, though.
Yeah.
They are really good, you know.
The commercial business.
They give us an iPad.
They did to place our orders.
To place our orders, and we do place some orders, don't we?
We do.
They're not the biggest of orders, but they are a very good company, and I'm going to do a big shout out to the Hydro Garden, because people give them some stick and that, and you know why they give you stick is because you're very good. So I would just laugh at that, because that's why you get stick. And I really like this book, so well done. Even though I can't find the zip.
Can't find the zip and do it back up.
Shit.
Why don't you just place it on the floor and I will sort it for you later?
I'll fix it. No, I'm not like you with your phone where you can't fix it, lad. Look. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, now I was hoping it wouldn't fix then.
Nah.
I'm going to wait ages.
So, well done, Hydro Garden. I really like that. And I've been
nice
looking at it as well.
It'd be nice to have you on podcast 120. There you go. Right, back to the actual podcast, what we're in the booth to talk about.
Okay.
Humidity. We're talking about the Vernal Equinox, the change of weather, and the fact that the temperatures are heating up over the next few weeks and months. We've just discussed lighting, LEDs, CFLs, digital ballasts, air and extraction. Before we move on to humidity, extraction, all well and good, you've got to upgrade the extraction, but there's another fan that we'll be using as well, and it is an intake.
Yep.
Now, when it comes to summer and we have these high temperatures of 28 degrees, 29 degrees, is it any good to be bringing that warm air into your grow room?
No, not really, but you'd also have the issues of, what about this warm air? Where do we get some cold air from?
So, I'm glad you asked, Thomas. Some of this cool air, because these houses are nowadays pretty well insulated, the air inside your house is more often than not cooler than it is on a hot day outside. So we would advise to bring in your air intake from another room within the house, or maybe I wouldn't say a loft, because it's not the loft's probably the least well insulated part of the house. But if you can draw air just even under the door, just through natural negative pressure, it's going to tend to be a little bit cooler. Even better still, if you've got a room within a room, put your air conditioning unit in the second room. Make that room really cold and pull your intake from that room. How about that one?
Even better.
Yeah.
Especially if you've got an air conditioning unit.
Yeah. What air conditioning units tend to do, though, is dry the air out, so they lower the humidity.
Yeah.
So what you would need to do is use a humidifier to get that back to the place where it needs to be. So you'd have to get your air conditioning unit and also buy a humidifier, so you're not stuck on a day, and then you go to your shop and you haven't got any, and you're just in a world of low vapor pressure deficit pain. VPD. Talking about humidity, what's that say? Nagano air conditioner mint with dehumidifier. Okay, must be a brand of the air conditioning unit. I'll have to look that one up. I haven't heard that one yet.
No.
If Mark's saying it's good, it's more like it's going to be good. Humidity is going to increase as the temperature increases, because it is relative. So when we talk, we've done big podcasts on humidity already, but as a little refresher, as the temperature goes up, it has more energy to hold water in the air. So relative to the temperature, we have more water in the air. And this is the reason why when you have your lights on and you have a certain amount of water in the air, maybe it's 50% relative humidity, the lights go off and the energy within the air to hold that water now decreases significantly. So your relative humidity actually goes right up as well. And what happens in the mornings, like summer mornings, what do you see on the grass?
Dew.
Exactly. And that's happened because the air has been able to hold all of this water during the day when it's been nice and warm. Sun goes down, temperatures drop. Where does all the water in the air go? Because the air's lost all of its energy. Forms the dew on the grass. And that same thing will happen in your grow room. You might get like sweaty walls or water running down your walls. That's because you haven't controlled your humidity correctly. And that's a good point for sunrise sunset features on the expensive lights. If you use your sunrise sunset feature, the temperature drops and gains a lot slower, a lot steadier than they will be if they just instantly turned off. And you can control your humidity a lot easier as well. So you got to keep your humidity right under control. Number one piece of kit to measure humidity and temperature is
Hydrostat.
And you need at least, I'd say you need to buy one per, 1.5 metre squared. If you've got a 2.4 by 1.2 room, get two, put them either side and get an average. If you've got a 3 metre by 3 metre room, I'll probably be looking to put 3 or 4 in there at different positions.
People take for granted that because we'll place a hydrostat somewhere situated within the grow room, that's the accurate reading because it says so on the hydrostat. It's the accurate reading for where it's positioned. So if you positioned it at the base in the corner where it's really cool, there's very airflow and movement, you may have you will have an alternative reading than what you'd have if you had the hydrostat placed up towards the
top of the canopy.
Yeah. So you need to take this into account when you're being Columbo, when you are doing your CSI on your room and you are the detective and you need to ascertain what's going on within the room, and all of these key figures and numbers and equations all need to coincide.
Didn't we change CSI to GRI the other week?
We did.
Grow Room Investigator.
Yeah, we did.
So you're not
and it's
CSI.
something that we always harp on about as well, and what Stephen's saying is so key because people take for granted humidity. Some people don't even take it into account. They call a hydrostat a thermometer. Yeah. Because it is a thermometer as well, but it's a dual purpose component, and it's a hydrostat because it reads both humidity and temperature. And people, if they're not using humidity as a major tool to their growth life and success,
there's big things going to go wrong.
Yeah. Humidity is key as well as temperature is. And the vernal equinox and the weather change is going to have these effects within these two elements.
Absolutely.
And the point of what Stephen's saying to you is that if you don't listen and don't take on board what he's saying and carry on driving down the same way in the same gear, you are going to hit a brick wall quick and hard, because you haven't took into account the vernal equinox, the weather change outside, which has effects inside on your temperature and humidity, which then spins up all of the other equations that you've been working hard to keep in line. Your meters cubed and now your BTUs and your VOCs and your VPDs and all of these things, what Stephen goes on about, are key. And what we're trying to say is that this vernal equinox, this weather change is here. It's now. It's happening. We was all in shorts the other day, nearly. I know a lot of the city was. The sunroofs were down. The drop tops were down. Everybody was all in the sunglasses, and boom, it was one day of summer, and people were starting to panic.
Yeah.
That is coming. Be prepared for it. As Stephen said also as well, if you bought equipment that was running on its breach, it's running on its limit, you're going to need to make adjustments. If you are one of the clever growers and you know that your equipment's fine and you do have your adjustables in there climate controlled SMS dimmers and blah blah blah. You are prepared. You've got your summer tools, your sun creams and your shorts, and
you're ready to go.
And you're ready to go.
Yeah. Mark said CO2 can help. Do you agree? Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Steve's a big fan of it. Really is a big fan of it.
In the winter,
there's 2 versions. There's 3 versions, isn't there? There's bottle. There's gas bottle. There's
the
CO2 bottles.
Yeah.
No, the
major canisters.
The major canisters with emitters and blah 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 and all that crap. Then we've got the handheldy sort of stuff that we call the portable stuff.
Yeah.
The bags and the bottles.
Yeah. So the bags are mycelial mass.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's like mushrooms.
Are they 600 ppm?
They take your root. So standard CO2 that we're breathing right now is around 330, 350, 360 parts per million CO2. Interesting fact is, though, in the summer, the CO2 tends to decrease because as the plants produce their leaves and they start to photosynthesize, they take in a lot of CO2, like worldwide, tons and tons and tons of CO2. So CO2 only a little bit drops in the summer, actually. So even without the temperature advantages, it's good just to give extra CO2 in the summer because all them green plants are sucking it dry outside. So you've got the mushroom bags, fungus that feeds on the sawdust and the food, and as a natural byproduct produce CO2. Top tip that loads of these I've heard people doing is
how much CO2 did you produce?
Oh, sorry, about 500 parts per million.
Okay.
Yeah. So just shy of doubling.
Yeah.
And they say they last for about 6 months, and you can get different size bags as well. I'll use Exhale because it's one of the most well-known CO2 bags.
Oh, we've got the CO2 bucket as well.
We've got the CO2 bucket, but it works on the same. But that's similar to the Exhale bag.
Yeah.
The CO2 bag, because we're going back to the CO2 bag. The produces CO2 as a byproduct, and the top tip is, and it's not even really a tip. It's just don't do this. Is people rip off that strip.
No.
Now this strip is where the gas exchange occurs, and it's going to release CO2 slowly and allow your bag to last for up to 6 months. People rip it off and think it starts producing CO2. It's absolutely nailed. Don't finish throwing it in the bin. And the other thing is with the XLs, don't forget to pull the strip off at the bottom. That's keeping it sealed below this white patch, and put it above the white patch, hang it, and then
it'll go. And
it'll expand.
It'll expand, and that's it, active.
So do that with your bags. Thomas, you mentioned the CO2 buckets. Works on the same method of the CO2 bag.
How much ppm? Okay.
I haven't measured it.
The bottles, then we've got the bottles.
What have we got?
You show me. You know.
We have the beautiful bottles.
The bottles.
Well,
you shake.
Most well known, in my opinion, is from TNB CO2 canisters. It's a mixture of yeast and sugar, and
you put a bit of water in. You give it a shake.
Thomas doing a shaking
and then
action with his hands.
That produces 1200 ppm.
For the first few weeks, for the first few days, it produces a lot of CO2. And what's nice about it is you shake to activate, produces CO2. So you shake when the lights are about to come on. That's when your plants are going to be using CO2. Plants do not use CO2 overnight. It is useless, maybe even dangerous.
Overnight or when they're asleep?
So when they're asleep.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for pointing that out, because some people actually have the lights on when it's dark outside at night time. It's something I often say that I shouldn't do. So well done for picking me up on that. So when the lights are on, you should be using your CO2. When the lights are off, cut your CO2 off. It's at best, it's just a waste. At worst, you're actually going to suffocate your plants, because plants take in oxygen during the night. Did you know that?
No.
Not a huge amount, but that they do. And you mentioned these buckets. So the difference between the bucket and the bag is you just pump air in the bottom, and there's a tube that comes out the top and produces a bit more CO2. The bottles produce a lot of CO2 early on. You shake it when the lights come on in your grow room, and then by the time the lights have gone off, the reaction tends to have slowed down a lot, so it's not actually producing CO2 overnight. And these last for up to 2 weeks, depending on how often you shake the bottle. So they're quite good. I like them. Now, here's one. People say that CO2 in these bags and these bottles, unless you're buying it in a canister and you're pumping out 1200 parts per million, these don't work. And the reason being is because they say you hang the bags of CO2 above your plants, because CO2 being heavy in there will drop down on your plants. And in the veg stage, this is great. But as soon as you turn your extraction up, because you've either added lights or basically when you get into flowering you should be adding a little bit of extra light. You turn your extraction up to get rid of that extra heat. What does the extraction do? Sucks all your CO2 out, so it's not actually hitting the plant. So what I would say is take off the CO2 bag and put it on the base of your plants. So the CO2 will drop and the extraction will naturally bring up that CO2 up through the plants. And do the same with bottles as well. Put them on the floor, give them a shake when the lights come on, and even if your extraction really is quite strong, what's it going to do? It's going to bring up this CO2 up through the leaves, through past the stomata, and the plant can breathe it in. So I'm a big fan of CO2 personally, but there are some naysayers out there that do not like it. Do not like it in the bottled form anyway. And then you've got the big bottles of CO2.
Yeah, the big
proper,
with the emitters. And
yeah, so you need to spend maybe £500 on the emitters, on the sensors,
load of
timers.
Shite.
But it's expensive, but it is the best form of CO2
it is,
into your room because it gives you constant. Oh, big ball ache. Big ball ache.
Yeah.
So yeah, CO2, that's it. Just before we move on from humidity, you said about, obviously, it's very important. And the reason it's important because if your humidity is too low, stomata close up and there's no air exchange, there's no gas exchange, and your plant's going to just essentially stop growing. So it's like me doing that to you, covering your nose and your mouth and saying to you, see how long you can run for.
It's not going to happen, is it?
Not going to happen, not for long anyway. So that's important. Too high and the plant stops taking up nutrients and water because it can't, via capillary action, pull that water up through the roots. And also with high humidity you tend to get rot and disease as well. So it's important to stay on top of your humidity. 70% in veg, 40% in flower, and it is a little bit harder to control it in summer, so you need to stay on the ball with it. Some of these comments come in and I don't understand them because they've probably been said about something I've said 4 minutes ago, but someone said you need a doctor.
Okay.
Be careful with CO2 because if you put too much in, I'm talking over 1,500 parts per million, not only will it probably be not the best thing for your plants, but I think anything over 2,000 could cause you headaches and start to replace the oxygen in the room. So not the best place for a grower to be.
I reckon you'd need a doctor.
You'd need a doctor. Maybe that's what you meant. So that's humidity. Go and get yourself a humidistat. Get yourself some dimmers, some humidifiers, some dehumidifiers.
Humidistat or hygrostat?
Hygrostat.
Okay.
And then if your humidistat is the piece on the end of your hygrostat to measure the humidity.
Is it the tail?
Yeah,
okay.
The little tail. And that's humidity. Comment if you have any questions more on humidity, but I can't remember off the top of my head. If you want to listen to humidity, just solely humidity, there's about a podcast 30 episodes ago just on humidity. What's going to happen in the next few weeks and months with the temperatures increasing? What little buggers come about?
Loads.
Which ones specifically?
Black fly, white fly, spider mite,
Thrip.
and
they come about because the temperatures have increased and they start to proliferate and become a nightmare if you don't keep a clean and tidy grow room. So as the temperature increases, you need to keep an extra eye out for these pests. Spider might love it.
As the temperature increases, your whole world of pain begins.
On the indoors anyway.
Yeah, because all of these problems just start happening.
So you've got to maybe stock up on some organic pesticides, stock up on some of the regulated chemical pesticides. Silicon. I'll say silicon because it's good for temperatures, good for high temperatures, good for low temperatures, good for plant stress. So if your humidity isn't spot on, then the silicon will help. And the silicon also make the plants a lot more resistant to pest and disease. So if you're needing an insurance policy, go and buy silica. And none of this, I think we're all moving away now from potassium silicate, which is the lowest, least available form of silicon. There's plenty of companies out there, Btus, Solar Green Power, Btus do a salicylic acid. So if you're looking to get a silica, get a salicylic acid. Or if you're really on the ball, and I mean really on the ball, you might even purchase some nano silicon. So the silicons that have got nano. Oh look, you've got your t-shirt on today. good timing then, actually.
What if you're really clever, though?
Really, really clever.
So basically what I'm saying, if you're an idiot, go and buy salicylic acid. Yeah.
No, that's not fair.
Yeah, it is fair. Because, because what we're telling them is what we
If you want the best form of silicon.
If you want the best form of
you'd buy nano silicon.
And why is it the best form?
Because
I don't understand.
It doesn't affect... Well, this is a podcast, and we'll be doing it about 2 or 3 weeks' time, but to give you a very quick...
Well, you're talking about salicylic acid.
Yeah. And that is a good form of silicon.
But
the reason that nano is
better,
better is because it's nanoparticles. So when a plant has to absorb nutrients, it takes energy. Like when you eat food, your metabolism takes over. You actually burn calories digesting food. The plant does the same. But with nanoparticles, the particles are so small that they get into the plant without the plant even trying. So the plant gains silicon, the most available form of silicon, without even trying. So what does it spend that extra energy on? Goes off and does, increases leaf size, increases photosynthesis, increases root mass. That's got a lot of energy to do a lot of other stuff. The nice thing about these nanoparticles as well is because they don't actually dissolve in water, they're suspended in the water. It doesn't affect your pH at all. At all. A silicon that does not affect your pH. Incredible. But that is really for another 2 to 3 weeks' time.
Didn't you have somebody trying to comment to you over that? Something about silicon and
pH? Yeah, I wrote an article for Garden Culture 3 years ago.
Oh yeah.
And at this time, nano silicons weren't widely available or even known about. So I didn't even know about them 3 years ago. So I wrote the article about potassium silicates and silic acid and said that if your silicon company says that it does not affect pH, it is a marketing trick and it is highly diluted. That's why it doesn't affect pH. Something like BudLink. Because I'm not a big fan of that product. Or Rhino Skin. I'm an even bigger hatred of that product.
Yeah.
Piece of water. And then it got re-released because GardenCultureMagazine.com published their brand new website, which is gorgeous, by the way. And my article was on there. So obviously the new website's released. People go and have a look and looked at the article, but then didn't think to themselves, oh, hang on. This is an article from 3 years ago, and pulled me about.
And obviously your version of knowledge has changed since then.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So when you wrote that article, is that article correct still?
Still correct, but there's been more research done on silicon now. So the only thing that isn't correct is I said if a company says their silicon doesn't affect pH, then it's a marketing trick. But now there is a silicon that legitimately doesn't affect pH.
But it just so happens to be our silicon, though, doesn't it?
It is our silicon, yeah.
So are you sure we're not just lying and saying it's a marketing trick?
I'm sure. But how can the people listen and be sure?
I don't know, because it sounds like a marketing trick to me.
It does sound like a marketing trick.
Doesn't it?
So what you would do then...
And the guy's pictured out on this, hasn't he? Fair dues.
Yeah, because I said something 3 years ago, which isn't technically correct anymore.
Yeah, but you are very normally always correct and stuff like that. So
I try my best.
How now have we got a product that doesn't alter your pH, does it?
Nope, not at all.
How have you achieved this? How can this be so?
Because all silicon...
Explain why your 3-year-old article is now incorrect.
It is incorrect because 95% of silicons, 99% of silicons do affect your pH. Reason being because the salicylic acid or the potassium silicate dissolves and increases because it releases hydrogen ions into the hydroxyl ions into the water, increases the pH. That's what silicon does, and it's because it's dissolved in the water. So the difference with nanoparticles is when things at the nanoscale, they operate differently, they react differently, and these particles are so small they don't dissolve. They're suspended in the water, and because they're suspended, they don't interact with the water. They don't affect pH, and they get into the roots.
Is this because the particles are actually coated?
They're also coated, yeah. So if they weren't coated, then they would simply just fall to the bottom of the tank, and some would dissolve.
And then react with the water then and alter the pH.
Exactly.
However, our particles...
coated in an amino acid called lysine.
Yeah.
So these particles, it means as well that the plant recognises the amino acid because it's evolved over billions of years to recognise amino acids. And it goes, oh, you're cool. I know you from billions of years ago. Come on in.
Yeah.
And the plant's happy and it gets a nice healthy dose
But
of
otherwise,
silicon.
Whilst it's in the water, it's not interacting because it's suspended.
It's suspended.
Yes, and not dissolved.
Suspended animation.
Excellent.
But you know how much I love silicon. I really do want to go on about it. But the nanosilicon and nanoparticles is for another podcast.
Yeah.
Hopefully in 2 to 3 weeks' time.
No, I just wanted to bring up that point that you got picked up on.
Yeah.
I thought it was relevant. So
It was.
thank you very much for picking up on that as well.
And Mark said a very, very good point. Mark Brooks from GM Hydroponics said the packaging needs to hurry up. My customers are very excited. I didn't
tell me about it. Fucking hell, packaging companies.
Why don't you tell them about packaging companies and I'll go and save this customer?
Okay, well, packaging companies. This bloody packaging company. Well, for a start, obviously.
When I come back, should I play that recording of that fella that fucked us off?
Yeah.
Should I play that?
Yeah, we have actually got it on the phone. We recorded them on the phone. So basically, as you know, we've had this product for a while, about 9 months now, and the design and development of the product was all very good at the beginning. Everything was perfect, and these design companies, you give them a nice lump sum of quite a few £1,000s, and they tell you, yeah, 2 weeks time. No, I'll be fair, they said 21 days. Your packaging will be ready, and everything, the product will be great, and the supply will be there, and there'll be no problems and no issues.
Oh, that was just Thomas Michael Smith, the Chelsea Flower Show grower. He has come to collect his lettuce.
But that's actually a myth. I think we ended up on 70 days. How long have we been waiting now? This packaging malark from China. I think the peddling from China.
You know what the really annoying thing is, and it's super annoying, Mark, is that the product's been ready since AutoPot last year.
Yeah.
The product has not changed a single bit since AutoPot. And
but
this
the
packaging, let me catch my breath. I've got so much sympathy for companies that have to release a product because I thought making a nanoparticle iron product and a nanoparticle silicone product would be the hard part. Coating it in the amino acid, making it in a cheap enough form so that it can be affordable by people. No, that's not the hard part.
No.
The hard part's getting a cardboard box together with a tube.
The cardboard box.
And all that.
With a bit of colour on.
So, the packaging companies, all going super smoothly all the way through October, November, December. Then the tableting company said that they can't produce the amount of tablets we require. Not a problem. I'll find another tableting company. The problem is the amount of tablets that we wanted for our first shipment was too many for the small independents and not enough for the big pharmaceutical tablet producers. So it was in a pickle. So over Christmas, I'm trying to find another manufacturer of tablets that's going to basically press this powder into tablets, make it really easy to transport. That didn't happen. And where did we get up to? Eventually, the team decided, why don't we just sell it as a powder? Exactly the same product, we'll just make it as a powder. So, okay, we're now in powders. So now we've got to find a sachet company. 4 weeks before Christmas. Spent 3-4 weeks designing the sachets, getting them all done, making them just right, because this product has got to be perfect. The fella just turned around and fucked me off. Around like the 15th of December, just turned around, about to pay the bill, to pay for like 10,000 sachets. And he goes,
weirdest fella I've ever spoke to in my life.
Rang up and just said, I don't want to do your sachets.
I don't want to do them.
I'm like, I'm on the phone 9 o'clock in the morning. And he's saying, what do you mean you don't want to do the sachets?
You just sent us an email saying, yeah.
There's the invoice.
There's the invoice.
About to pay you.
And then your phone is saying you don't want to do that.
I rang him and said, yeah, ready to make this payment. Just one little query on it, blah, 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 blah. And he went, you know what? I'm fed up with all this messing about, this and that, and blah, blah, blah. And the reason I got so confused is because, listen, I'm honest, I'd tell you, see the cardboard box, like that looks a bit like an iPhone case. Those people at Centerline, I've had them up the wall. I mean, up the wall. The designs. And I mean, I've had them run right.
Anyway, just long story short, this fella's just turned take on us and just went all
2 weeks, a week before Christmas. So we turned take for honestly no reason whatsoever. He got legged. Spent another few weeks looking for another sachet company. None of them could do it. Got in touch with another person. He could do it. Guess what happens? Oh, it's Chinese New Year for 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
So we put.
What was it? The year of the what?
The year of the fucking get pissed off at packaging companies.
Yeah, year of the fuck us over.
Yeah, so that's happened. So for anyone that's listening that's wondering where Nano is, it's because we're not prepared to release a product that in our opinion, just doesn't look great.
Yeah.
The product is great.
The packaging done. The product's shite.
The packaging was not up to our standards.
So,
but I've been told
we've got 27 days left on a beer.
27 days to go.
Yeah, 27 days to go. 27
So,
days to go.
fingers crossed, it'll all be here
shipment
very
comes
soon.
on the fucking boat from China.
Yeah. So if you're at a shop and you're interested in a few...
One of the
you wanna try
25
out-
shops, anyway, certified shops only. You can't give it to every shop.
No, not every shop. Exclusive product.
Got to be in the group.
We
to
distribute
have
it. Get in touch.
We distribute it.
If you haven't used it, if you didn't get your sample at AutoPot last year,
phone us for the sample.
give us a little call, and because we would expect you to use the product before you sell it in your shop. Anyone that wants to sell the product without having used the product, yeah,
You're stupid.
why would you do that?
Why would you do that?
So if you haven't had a sample,
Why?
get on us for a sample and we'll sort it out. But we'll
Yeah.
do a proper podcast in 2 or 3 weeks. So yeah, we were talking about silicon. Helps prevent
Was we
pests.
still?
Helps. We were.
Really?
It's my favourite thing. Helps prevent pests. Helps with the high heat. Helps with the low heat. And it's just a generally all-round awesome product. Okay? So that's that. Pest and disease. You might be wondering, the pests are on the increase. The diseases are on the increase. How do we solve them? Well, if you go back about 15 episodes, we do a full podcast on pest and disease prevention. But keep your environment good, and you will not tend to have many
So is
problems.
Michael Thomas Smith here, is he?
He is Michael Thomas Smith from Chelsea, well, the Chelsea Flower Show
Shall we
growers
get him
here.
in?
He's collecting his lettuce.
Shall we get him in?
Do you want me to go and shout him?
Go and give him a shout. See what he's got to say for himself. See if he's killed any of me lettuces that I've been growing for him. I have been growing.
Hello!
Go and get him. Where's he ass?
I know, I've just got sat down again. Oh, God, just caught me breath. Nicola Mountford, true real product. I don't know if she's talking about Nano or something else. Let us know.
Let us know. I can't read that because I've got my sunglasses on. Yeah. So, we've got Michael Thomas Smith. I want to stand up a minute. Let me sort me mic out. 1 second, bear with me, people. No, let's sit back down.
The Welsh wizard is on his way.
The Welsh wizard is on his way. Boyo. So, yeah.
It's chilly out there, you know.
Yeah.
It's actually chilly today.
It's not chilly.
Talking about the weather going up, and it's actually quite chilly. Pop your head in, Michael.
Pop your head in here.
Yeah.
Hello.
The Welsh wizard's here.
Get him in, boyo. Move over, boyo.
Wait, could you make this door you wide to get in?
No. He's stuck.
Come on.
Get him in.
Can't get in this room.
He's stuck. So
Tell him on air, can't you?
so we've got Michael Thomas Smith in the booth today. Just about. We're gonna have to make some adjustments.
Yeah, the door's too narrow.
Yeah. He's been eating too much of that fine
Lettuce.
produce. Yeah, that fine lettuce.
Is that what it is? Is it?
Yeah, that's what we've been growing.
So hopefully our propagation went well.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Everything's going on.
So you've got
What did
award-winning
you?
lettuce.
What did we propagate? What was it? Yeah, propagate.
Lettuce.
Lettuce. A few
Just-
selection,
Yeah, different types.
different types. Top secret.
Not
Fro-
really.
no.
Just different types. and
tell
just
no one.
the-
Tell no one.
There's people listening. There's spies on the walls.
Yeah, they're everywhere. They're looking. So yeah, as you know, Chelsea Flower Show. What's going to be going on?
Oh God, got the chili.
What chili? What's going on? It's chili.
This
The
hot-
chili.
The chili.
The chili.
The dragon's breath.
Is it really? Am I really that bad?
The
I've
world's,
got dragon's breath.
we were going for the world's hottest chili.
All right, and it's called.
The dragon's breath.
Ah,
By the
I
Welsh
thought
wizard.
I thought he was saying I had bad breath here for a second.
no,
Yeah. So the world's hottest chili,
Yeah,
and what would the Skulls rating be on that?
2.48
Million.
million.
£1
You can buy that from us. You can have it for a mere 2 million if you like it anyway. So that's going to be going on at the Chelsea Flower
Yeah.
Show. What else?
Different. We got what new veg? No, I wouldn't say new veg. The big thing is the chili.
Yeah.
And we're doing a wall with this lettuce,
Yeah.
a vertical wall. So
Big thank you to
vertical
Nutriculture
growing.
for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much for helping us out and sponsoring us and giving us endless amounts of equipment and bits and bobs and
Well, a
stuff.
pallet full, isn't there?
Yeah.
I'm
Don't
just
big
putting up with
expect the
us.
wall to be.
Yeah.
What we're talking about today, Michael, is the Vernal Equinox, the change in weather.
Yes.
And how people can cope with it if they wish to continue growing indoors, how they would cope indoors. But of course, growing outdoors, it's a pleasure when the summer comes around.
The summer's getting longer, actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're finding that now.
But
the weather, it's improved. There isn't the frost, which I think is a negative.
Yeah.
Because the bugs and beasties are still alive from
Around
last
for
year.
longer. Yeah.
So there's going to be an awful lot of slugs this summer.
See, the good thing for to have you here is because, as you know, we're indoor growers. You're the outdoor grower, and
do you get slugs inside though?
No, never.
We do.
No, never, because we control the gateway. You have all these nasty predators constantly gnawing at you day in, day out. We don't. We create a perfect equilibrium of our environment, extraction, temperature, and humidity, and we will not get a single problem.
If we're very good at our job.
Yeah. However, that's why I've got to take my hat off to you every time, because that's really an easy thing for us to do. Where to achieve what you achieve, and the success and the quality of what, and as you can see these numerous amounts of rosettes and awards and stuff like that. To do that when you're constantly having a battle day in, day out with environment, Mother Nature, and she not so often isn't too kind to us lately outdoors.
The last storm, what was that storm? Doris, was it?
Yeah.
Half destroyed the greenhouse.
Yeah.
The polytunnel.
Oh, yeah.
Did he?
Tree came down on it.
Really?
Still there. We got Gareth in to try and see if he could revive it.
Yeah.
He wasn't that good. He couldn't revive the tree.
He was giving it the kiss of life. He pulled him off, Gareth, pack it in. No, it's gone. There's no bringing it back. But yeah, and then the success that you have as well with all of these elements constantly hindering you, where we don't have that, and we'd love to be able to grow half of the quality of produce as Michael does.
But don't you find though, when you take stuff out of the environment, it isn't as strong?
Out of which environment?
The grow tent environment.
Oh yeah.
It becomes weakened.
It does.
Yeah, and you have to harden it up for a little bit. Yeah.
Because we're finding the chili now, it's come out of a controlled environment.
Yeah.
And the leaves.
And it's going, ooh, I don't like that. I don't like that.
It's like a baby.
Yeah, it is.
And when you take stuff out, like broad beans and simple things like that, they change.
Yeah.
When they come out.
It's interesting because obviously I've done them things, like when I've been messing about with the plants outside the shop and I grow them indoors and I bring them outside, and as soon as they touch the wind, they just go,
don't like it.
Don't like it whatsoever. So then I started noticing things, because I was learning about outdoor growing and learning that you put like a windbreaker up and you'd interact them into the wind and the cold, but they really don't like coming out of that perfect environment. No. It's not nice for them at all.
They like fleece. Do you use fleece at all? Do you sell fleece here?
From LBS.
I think so. You'll have to join me, Michael.
I'll have to join you.
Yeah.
Here we go. Oh, here we go. I'll stand here.
So, yeah, put that over. So, how's been going for you? How's it been growing for you anyway?
Well, ask Alison. She seems to be on the suffering with the stress of getting growing.
Here's the boss, right? Here's the Grand Fuhrer. Here she is now. Say hello, Alison.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah. So what's been going on? Tell me a bit more, and you can share that, mate.
There you go.
There you go.
Well, we're growing about 75 different types of veg, really, for the show.
Yeah.
So we've got all the different types of beans, things like lab beans. Have you heard of lab beans?
Well, you know, mine's the favourite of yours is the fruit, don't you?
Yes.
You know, that's my passion.
That's where we're going this afternoon, to get lemon and lime trees.
Oh.
So it's Alison's birthday today. So
happy birthday!
Happy birthday! A big happy birthday. So, Mikey, when we do the editing, can we put a happy birthday track over this for him, please? That would be really good.
And
21 today. Let's have a look at her. Look at her. She's gorgeous. Good job, Michael's here, Because we had whisk it away. So happy birthday.
It's all artificial.
He's stuck in the greenhouse for a month now. He's not getting let back in the house.
SP Plant Improver works wonders, you know.
So our partnership's been going very well, hasn't it, Michael?
Yeah.
And it's going to be exciting this summer.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're going to the Chelsea Flower Show.
Flower Show.
And what day are we going?
whichever day you want.
Any day we want.
Apart from Monday.
Yeah.
When the Queenie's there.
When the Queen's there. Oh, that would be nice to meet the Queen.
She's, yeah.
You've met her before, haven't you?
Not there, no,
not there.
Met Princess Anne.
Princess Anne.
She was lovely, she was.
Oh, we should have went and met her then. I would have introduced you.
But over in Chelsea, it's just a quick run in and run out. It's a lot of build-up for very little.
Well, no doubt we'll be walking away with the gold, won't we, Michael?
Oh, I hope so.
Fingers crossed.
It's hard work, though.
Hard work. Hard work.
You know.
We've got faith.
Yeah,
we?
well, I've had family. I think I got 6 silver gilts.
Yeah.
I haven't got the gold yet. And the reason I say I haven't got the gold is there's not enough colour. There's no colour on reg.
No.
And we're competing against flower displays and all the rest of it.
We'll have to spice it up a bit then, aren't we?
We've got to be careful what we spice it up with. It's bad enough for the chili.
I think the Dragon's Breath will do the job.
I hope so, yeah.
Hope so.
And we got actually putting roses on the display for the first time this day.
Yeah.
So
Have we got any fruits in the display?
Oh yes.
Yeah. What have we got?
Oranges, lemons, boysenberries, blackberries, all different types.
Okay. So obviously I'll be having to test all of these to make sure
Oh,
that
God,
they're
yeah.
up to your usual standard.
We did one show in Tatton, and we prefer the public not to eat the fruit off the display for obvious reasons, because that's the display.
Yeah.
And this one guy was pinched a gooseberry.
Yeah.
And I caught him. And I thought I'll give him a shock. So I said to him, I said, I don't mind you eating the fruit. He says, you're more than a pleasure to have some. He says, the trouble is it's been sprayed with some really nasty chemicals to bring it to the show. And I said,
You're a cruel man.
and if you don't feel well during the day or this evening, I says, make sure you go straight to hospital.
The guy's like that,
And
really
you should
paranoid.
have seen him. He shit himself.
Yeah. Literally. No, he never. He didn't really.
Michael, I'm
Go-
kicking you out the booth to finish off this.
Michael's getting kicked out the
I'm getting
booth.
kicked out.
He's being evicted out the booth.
I
You have
know
to
you
get me
love,
to the door
you
first.
love being
No,
on the
he's not.
podcast.
So what are you up to for the rest of the day today, Michael?
We're going to source our citrus trees for the display, because they've just come in from Spain.
And then you're going to take Alison for a lovely, expensive slap-up meal for her birthday.
McDonald's on the way home.
Oh, he's definitely in the greenhouse, isn't he, Alison? He's getting here. Wait till he gets out this booth. Watch it. He'll have 2 black eyes. Trust me, Alison's in charge.
Anyway, lovely to speak
Michael,
to you.
thank you
take
very
care.
much. Can't wait till we see you get this golden rosette at Chelsea. I'm going to look forward to it.
Good
We'll
luck.
see you
It's
back
going to
on
be a
podcast
pleasure.
after with the gold.
Thank
We'll
you
have
very
some
much.
fun, anyway.
And thank you for coming up and seeing us as well.
Yeah, great. Squeeze out. Ooh.
Oh,
Well, I'm getting out now. I lost weight.
Right. We're nearly done. Nearly wrapped
done.
up. Nearly wrapped up. But I wanted to give a little bit of. Nicola, by the way, said that the true real product was Nano. She got the sample at AutoPot, and she's been very, very happy.
excellent.
Made up with it.
Excellent. Thank you very
So
much.
thank you very much. The product,
Good
as if we would release a product with our name on it. That didn't work.
Shut that door.
Isn't that Spike Milligan's joke?
Which?
Shut that door. He's the old comedian. Shut that door.
No.
He was.
I just wanted to shut the door.
It's freezing. So, yeah, the temperature, the Vernal Equinox. I'm very aware that we've got a lot of subscribers. I mean, a lot in California by
Loads.
itself. And
Loads.
what I would like to say to those Californians is you are super Calis, and you are super Califragilistic.
Big shout out to
expialidocious.
Mendo Dope Crew as well. Bam, them videos are sick, you know, boys. Seriously. I love them videos, especially with the tunes and that. You need to up your editing though a bit, because some of them were a bit long. You could edit them and get a bit more sick tracks in there, but
They haven't got
for
a make
real
though.
boys,
Hey, they haven't got to make it.
yeah, sorry, but forget about the editing and that, boys. The videos of what you're videoing is just heavy. So big shout out to Mendo Dope Crew.
Yeah, man. Have they got a YouTube? Where
Yeah,
do you
man,
watch their videos?
Yeah, man. The Mendo Dope.
Okay, cool.
Check them out. They're heavy. Big shout out to Heavy T's Grow Show as well, you know. Major as well.
Yeah.
just everybody who's in our industry and who's doing the same thing as what we're doing, even on a bigger scale. We admire what you do, we love what you do, and a big shout out to all of you, to everyone in the US, Canada and all of that, right up to Cali and that. A big shout out, you're just keeping it real.
We've got subscribers in every single state, so Cali's the one we've got the most subscribers
so
for every single state.
Big
whatever
shout
state
out to you all.
Is
Respect, man.
Yeah,
really,
thank
really,
you very much.
Thank you very much.
And the reason that I'm giving them a shout out is because a lot of those boys and girls will be doing a little bit of outdoor growing. So I've written down
Major outdoor growing.
some notes,
outdoor growing.
some little top tips. If you're outdoors and you're coming into summer, planting location is key.
Yeah.
Somewhere where you're not going to get the midday Californian sun and it's going to absolutely roast the plants. You want to have it where it's like you got nice warm day and night temperatures. Second thing is avoid really windy areas. If you're unavoidable, then put up some wind blocks, something that'll prevent the wind from destroying the plants, removing all the humidity that you need in veg, and then wind blockers will do a very good job. Wind chill, another little point about wind chill.
Yeah.
Us being
Well, we were just
outdoor
talking about it
enthusiasts.
then when you was bringing out the indoor plants that outdoors, the wind chill and the...
I've noted down something interesting here. A 10 degrees Celsius wind chill with 10 mile per hour winds reduces the temperatures by 10 degrees.
Yeah.
So if your temperature is 10 degrees and there's a 10 mile per hour wind, your wind chill temperature is going to be 0. So pretty cold.
Woo!
And that's something that you've got to take into consideration with the air movement.
So windbreaker, boom.
And if you're in a really, really sunny area, shaded areas or places that avoid midday heat, and I think Michael mentioned it there, a shade cloth.
Well, listen, see me boy in Jamaica, who was talking about before, his outdoor grow is just getting ravaged by them 43-degree suns,
Not
and
good.
I mean
Not good.
hammered. So see this like black net meshing. That's what we've got on. He's got on the go over there, and he's pulling it over. It's still getting the light, but not the intensity of it. The like sheer
Increasing the heat.
Yeah.
One last thing before we sign off is you can buy these infrared thermometer guns.
Yeah.
Because obviously measuring the
It gives you
temperature of the room.
variable reading.
Yeah. So you can measure the corners of your room, find any heat spots. But most importantly, you can get your leaf temperature as well.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the most important things to consider. Making sure that the leaf temperature doesn't get too hot. Because if it does go over 32, 33 degrees, photosynthesis stops, plants stop growing, and it's game over. So it's important. So, in a nutshell, today's podcast.
In a nutshell.
Just stay on the ball.
Yeah.
There's nothing that's going to happen that cannot be controlled.
Watch out for the change.
Watch out for the change. Watch out for the increase in humidity. Watch out for the slight drop in CO2, the increase in temperatures, and just this is my top tip, and this is a good top tip for shops to tell people as well. Try not to change any products at this time of year. So if you get to around April, May, and you think, I fancy trying this new product that's come out, just be careful. I'm not saying don't try the new product, but you're about to come into the summer season, which is quite a difficult time of year to grow indoors. And what people tend to do is it comes to September, they've tried a new product, and they go, that product was shit. Give me back to my old stuff. More than likely, it wasn't your product that was shit. It was the environment that was shit. And people just love to blame it on the nutrients for whatever reason. So be careful with changing your setup, with changing your nutrient regime. Feel free to experiment, but don't be blaming anything that goes wrong on this one thing that you've changed. It's your environment. It's all about your environment. It always will be about your environment. It always has been about your environment. So that's me done. Any more pearls of wisdom, Thomas?
Top tip. Humidity. Temperature. Humidity. Temperature.
Humidity.
Temperature.
Humidity.
Temperature.
Environment.
Environment. This is the reason for the Vernal Equinox. This is the reason for this podcast, for the weather change. Watch out what's happening. It's crucial. Adjust your tool equipment, what you have in your toolbox, your lighting. Adjust your tool. Just the equipment that you're going to use. Is it adequate? Is it going to allow you to have a good
fighter's chance of producing a healthy grow?
A good perfect grow room.
Right, That's it.
Yeah.
I've got to apologise because actually what I'm going to do is
comments, Dave, before we sign off.
Let's have a little look. Anita said put it in a bag because Adam always says one of the videos we watched was can you bag it? Remember when you put the tent down? He said this is how you take a tent down.
Yeah.
He said he wants you to bag it.
Yeah.
Well, he always says bag it every time now.
Bag it. No. Yeah, but put it back in the bin bag.
Bag it and swerve it.
Yeah.
Little gigs lyric there for anyone who doesn't know.
Anyway,
that's it. End
That's
the
it.
podcast.
End
Sorry
of-
for not being here on Sunday. We were experiencing high volumes of people coming in the shop, and we actually didn't have a chance to just sit down for
No,
5-10 minutes
we
and
was
get
up the wall.
started.
Yeah.
I think we spent 30 minutes in here just getting in and out.
Yeah.
So we've done a podcast today. We're listen, if you're listening today on Tuesday, we've recorded it live today.
Yeah.
Mickey's going to edit, upload it today. It's Tuesday. Do another one on Thursday.
Yeah.
That'll be on Sunday.
Yeah. And that's where
And
we're
then
up
you
to.
can look forward to podcast 110 when the shops come together.
Yeah, all them shops who want to go, who are coming. If you haven't still confirmed, make sure you're confirmed. Make sure you know what day you're coming, what time you're coming. And that's it. Get your asses up here and let's have it.
Let's talk.
Yeah, let's talk. Some serious talk. Let's get everybody watching.
Mikey, that's us, bro.
That's us done.
Let's
Thank
go.
you. Bang. See you later.
soon.
Bye.
See you on Thursday. Bye-bye.
Everybody, it's springtime. Spring is here. Spring is here, spring is here, spring is here, spring is here.
Spring is here.
Spring is here,
Spring is finally here. With the snow and ice no longer seen.
The leaves are finally turning green.
That's why it's time to sing.